Hi everybody. I have a fun kind of series that I want to start just playing with for fun. So I'm gonna kind of tell you where I'm coming from and what the goal here is. I wanted to do some fun double-sided papers that you could make into some various types of pockets and some different kinds of ephemera. So what I did is I've taken a collection that I had and I have printed it. I printed pages 1 through 10 in the collection on the fronts of the pages, and then I just turned them right over and printed 11 through 20 on the backs. So it kind of just fell where they fell depending on the order that they were. But anyway, these are some of the papers. They're kind of a fun blue and yellow spring Easter type of a theme. Really pretty, and I've already been playing with some of them, so some of them have already been cut up. So I'm going to show you, well, I can link those below, but this will work with any papers that you have, so keep that in mind. But I wanted to tell you how I printed them, so you will know if you want to do it the same way. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm just deciding. I want one with high contrast so that you'll be able to see what I'm doing here as I make one of these. But I'm going to show you first what I'm going to be making. So I wanted to make these pockets. I saw this idea years ago and I've used them similar to this several times. I kind of added my own little twist to it, but I want to say the first time I saw it, I bet there's a million different versions, but the first time I saw it was Paper Outpost a few years ago, and it was just a folded paper that creates several little pockets. So you could actually even use this as a pocket if you wanted. If you don't, then just glue that shut when you glue it into your journal. And I made a tall skinny tag that coordinates to come into that. Am I in view? There we go. To come into that pocket right there. So that's kind of what we're going to be making. I have one that I'm going to kind of make all together, but I wanted to show you how I cut these papers. On my printer, I get about, it's maybe a 1/4 of an inch to a 1/4 of an inch border around the edges. So I just go ahead and trim that off. And I'll show you what printed on the back of this one. It's this beautiful, oh, I love it, grungy newsprint kind of a thing. Really pretty. And so I'm just trimming those, and if a little of the printed part gets clipped off, then that's okay. But right now I'm going to just trim all the sides, even though I'm only using part of the paper. But I want you to see the process so you know which part of the paper I cut from. Just lining that up the best I can. On the camera that almost looks green. It's a really like light yellow. Okay, so then I make this 5 inches. So I'm turning it this direction and I'm going to trim that down to 5 inches, and that's the end of cutting that we're going to need for this. All right, now I'm going to show you how I make the folds for this. So depending on which one you want on the outside will depend on how you fold it. If you come here, you're gonna fold it so that this is a nice point right here. And then you're gonna come and you're gonna fold this so that this point lines up and these two edges line up. And you'll notice that that kind of tucks right up against where that fold ends as well, but that's not critical at all. Okay, so I've got my sample one here. So once you get it to this point, you're gonna take this back corner and you're gonna be folding. Let me make sure I'm doing it right. I'll keep it this direction so you can see where we're headed, and I can too. You're gonna fold this up. This is the part I kind of added in because I wanted to add contrast with this other layer of paper, and this is how I'm doing that. So, and then I'm gonna bring this down and fold that piece down. And you won't actually see that one because it'll get folded under. All right, so now we're right here, and then we're gonna go ahead and fold this up like so. And just make sure it lines up on this edge and with this fold right here. And then give it a crease. And then the last bit is to make it so you can see that paper that's underneath again. If you want it skinnier, you can see on my, I made this one skinnier, I made this one thicker, and that just depends on how thick you fold it. So if you want it to be skinnier, you're just gonna make 2 folds and then get it parallel with that line. Let me make sure I did it like that. And so then you have this cute contrasting little bit right here. So then before you're gonna wanna glue anything down, you're going to want to ink this. So I'm gonna ink that for you. And then I'm gonna just unfold it and I'll show you one more time through just to make sure that that made sense. But maybe with these ink lines, it'll be kind of nice to be able to see a little better too. And if you wanted, you could clip out a little bit of a half circle here or on one of these or whatever. And depending on how you glue things, it will affect how many pockets you end up with. So from the beginning, just really quickly reviewing, you take your paper, which is about 8.5, probably 8.25 once you trim it, 8.25 by 5. And you're gonna turn that the long way and fold that straight to the edge so it's a nice, this if unfolded would be a perfect square. And then you go ahead and fold that straight to this edge right up here. Then you open it up, you're gonna take these 2 corners here, fold one up and one back. Then you fold it this direction back on the same side with this pocket right here. So you wouldn't, I mean, you could if you wanted, if you didn't want that extra pocket, you could fold it up this way too. So it just depends, but I like the extra pocket. So we're staying here, and then you're gonna go ahead and fold that one underneath however much you want, leaving that little bit of contrast showing there. And that's it. So if you look at this, you'll see you actually could use this as a pocket, a little tuck. You could even use this as an upside down tuck if you wanted. You have this one here. You could even make this one too, but I wouldn't recommend that because it's the same position as the other one. You have this one here, and you would have this whole one here as well. You could get creative and do one right here if you wanted. But, you know, it's totally up to you how many you want. So now that we have that one ready, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of show you the rest of the embellishing process if you want to see how I did mine and where I glued to put this together. So I know that for me, I would probably put this on this end of a book. So I would rather not use that tuck right here. So I'm going to go ahead and actually glue that one shut for this one. Maybe on another one I would leave it open, but for this one I'm going to go ahead and glue that shut, and it will just add a little extra stability to have that glued shut. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. Now I also don't really use these upside down tucks super often, but again, you could if you wanted. So I'm going to go ahead though and glue that shut, I'm not going to be using it. All right, so now this is one I will use, and this is one I would use. So I would probably, I'm debating because I could do either this spot or this spot. I think I'll use this one. So let's go ahead and glue this down. So I'm going to just glue this whole flap down. And glue this whole flap down. But again, just double check because you might like to have your pocket in a different location. But you're okay because remember, it still leaves this pocket here. So you still have plenty of pockets. I'm gonna get that lined up a little better. All right, so that's everything. I don't need to sew anything else. We have this one, and we have this one, and we have this one. So for me, this one will end up being a 3-pocket tuck. So now I'm going to go ahead and just tuck in a few little bits and pieces. I have this cute bird tag, which I think goes perfect with this paper. I have a couple of tiny little bits, so I think I'll go ahead and put those back in here too. We'll keep that blue up front. We'll make it so we can see our little bird. And then I just used the leftover scraps from the paper to go ahead and I'm gonna make this tall, skinny tag. Here's the prototype. It's just a rectangle. You could clip the corners and make it tag shape if you want, but I'm leaving mine. And I just had some scraps of this light grayish, whitish cardstock. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that. And this was a scrap left over. I actually trimmed the cardstock to be just a hair bigger. Oh, I love that. But it's too matchy with the pocket, I think. Oh, but I just love it. Yeah, that's better. I like the contrast. I'm gonna just stick with the original plan, but I hate even covering it. It's the prettiest paper set. I love this paper set. I think I can make a whole journal with this paper set. Some of them just inspire me like that, and this is one that just, Elena created it, and I just instantly loved it the second I saw it. All right, we have that. I have this scrap of coffee dyed, I think it's dictionary paper, which I just hate wasting. I hate wasting coffee dyed paper. Any scrap of it, I have to find a way to use every little bit. So, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and just, ooh, I like this side. It has more. I think I'm gonna do this side. Screech, change of plans. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and just glue that down, and then I'll trim off the extra. Then I'll have to find another way to use the piece I trimmed off, because I don't want it to come that far over. I think things always look better if they're not really a half. Do you know what I mean? What do they call that in photography? The law of thirds or something. All right. So I'm just gonna trim that right carefully next to the edge of my cardstock. And that's just fun. Now I just need to find a place to use that. I'm telling you, I have a problem with coffee dyed paper. All right. Oh, I dropped my ink thing. All right, so we have this, and I wanted to just add very little. It doesn't need a lot, and it's going in a pocket, so I really don't want a lot. But I had this left over from when I made this one, and I thought, why not use it? Maybe I could use the whole thing. I had this cute blue butterfly too. I like that. It's kind of a patchworky kind of a feel. I'm gonna go with it. That part hadn't been inked yet. Oh, I have yellow. Oh. Oh, I can't decide. I think I'm gonna stick with the blue because this is more of a blue monochromatic. Let's go with it. Don't second guess, just glue, right? That can be our motto, just glue it. There we go. That's a fun look. If I could get it straight. Now, the real test of character is, can I get this washi sticker off I know you're all feeling for me right now. Sometimes I have the hardest time, and I just clipped all my nails. We're gonna get it. That, or I'm gonna just glue it down. Oh, we got it. Hooray. All right, there's our washi butterfly. I kind of want to ink my washi butterfly. Is that a thing? I have a problem. I like to ink everything, including my fingers. All right. There's our washi butterfly, who just needs to go right there on that tag. All right, perfect. Okay, so we have a super simple tag, but again, it doesn't need a lot because this is a lot. There's a lot there already. You don't need to do anything too crazy to dress it up. All right, I'm eyeballing this. Sorry, I'm reaching across. There we go. And I think I just want some twine, maybe. I think I want doubled up twine. Let's do it. We've got a lot of twine. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in and double it up. And there we go. A very easy, fun little tag. That would be really pretty with stitching around the edges. We're not gonna do that now on camera. But anyway, so that's what it'll look like inside of that pocket. And then we have this one, and then I still have to embellish this one, but I'll do that one off camera. But anyway, I just wanted to show you some fun ideas for building pockets with two-sided paper and being able to get that little hint of contrasting fabric or paper to show through, and how fun that is. So anyway, give these a try. They're so easy. You can do them with book pages or double-sided pages that are patterned, whatever you want. So I hope you are able to sit down and have some fun creating with this. We'll talk to you later. Bye.